Hey friends, welcome back to In the Studio with Ophelia. I'm Ophelia and thank you all so much for joining me. In my previous video that uploaded last week, and I'll make sure to link it somewhere here, we did our 2023 word of the year, and I truly had so much fun thinking about my word and journaling my word and documenting my word. In today's video, I would like to carry on with that a little bit more, or I guess piggyback off of that somehow, where I document my goals for 2023. Now, these are going to be my personal art goals, but you may have other goals that you wish to document in an art journal. And so that's what I am going to do today. My 2023 word for the year was authentic and effortless growth. So authentic growth, effortless growth, all around just basically growth and being authentic with the growth. Okay. So today I just wanted to pull out my journal and create my art goals based on my word for the year. I hope all of that makes sense. I hope that you guys will grab your materials, your journals, your watercolor, acrylic paints, what have you, and let's just sit down and write ourselves some goals. For me, it will be for my art goals. Yours may be totally different goals, but together we shall grab our materials and document our goals for 2023. I shall stop talking, turn the camera around, and let's just play and document our goals for 2023. Okay? Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you next time. Sheesh. After that intro, I just want to keep everything simple. So I've got some gesso here, and I'm just going to apply some of the gesso and a pretty thin layer of gesso onto both sides of this journal spread. I'm honestly feeling as though I want to keep today's journal page pretty simple and not drag out all of the kitchen sink supplies. So I'm just going to layer some gesso, let it all dry up, and then we'll begin. Once the gesso has had time to completely dry, I've grabbed my Lukas 1862 watercolor palette, as well as my spray bottle, and that's the AquaMyst spray bottle, and I've just quickly spritzed the watercolor palette as well as the page where I've just gessoed and let it dry, so that whatever watercolors I put down, they can just kind of flow over the page. I'm not really even particular about the colors that I am putting down, but I am using the Creative Mark No. 2 Harmony Squirrel Quill brush, just because I do love how much water it holds and how it just allows me to splash color on the page. I'm kind of sticking with some reds and yellowish golds, and I guess these colors will be what will kind of capture the essence of where the page will end up going. I've now grabbed my mountain of collage papers. You know, I promise I'm just gonna create like a capsule collection of this and just make it my absolute point to use up my collage paper collection. Right now, I'm just going through that pile and trying to find different things that will actually go with this page. I'm just auditioning things, to be honest, just rambling through the pile, finding things that may or may not work. A lot of times, because this stack is just so giant, I forget what's here, and as I'm searching through the pile, it's like, ooh, I forgot all about that. And I just want to make myself use this stash of collage papers that I have far more often than I do. And so I've just kind of gathered some things that may or may not work and just kind of auditioning them around the page. I've got a scrap pad of paper that I use to, or use with my glue stick, and I'm just starting to glue things down. Again, I wanted to just keep this page pretty simple because I did just want to make it about my art goals for 2023. I've got some New York Central India ink, and it's black India ink. And what I've done is I've created a small jar of um, India ink that's been diluted with water just to give me like the perfect light gray color, where I am not always going from that big bottle and diluting it down every single time. And I like to use this diluted India ink to just add shadows to things and color in things. And so that's honestly what I'm doing with it now. It's just already made perfect light gray color that I can use to color in certain things, like collage sheets that I don't want to fussy cut, or things like that. I've just watered it down to where it's the perfect light gray, blend everything together kind of color. And so I've created just a jar to house it, where it's already ready and always ready to use. I'm also creating another video where I show you guys exactly how I make it, so stay tuned for that one. And while that little piece of paper that I just painted with my light gray mixture is drying, I'm just continuing to glue down all the other things that I've prepared. And I'm drying that bit off just a little bit to kind of make things go pretty quickly. A lot of the times I find with my collage papers, things that I pull out, I don't necessarily use all on the same page. A lot of times it is just me kind of trying to get ideas for what may or may not work. And so I'll just end up pulling a lot of things and then auditioning them. And sometimes they make it onto the page, and sometimes they go back into the pile. What I'm doing here is using that block in 2023. I'm going to use that as more of a title, and I'm doing that in air quotes, like a big enough space where I can create a title for this journal page. I'm just using a circle punch to punch out some circles from a piece of Gelli printed paper that I had. And again, one of my goals is honestly to use the things that I have created and stop hoarding the things that I have. So I'm just using some markers to put in the title, and then I'm just going to glue down these circles that I've punched out of the jelly printed papers, and I'm numbering those. And I do want to keep the goals at a minimum and not have like 500,000 different goals where now it's just way too many to keep up with, but just simple things that I want to incorporate every single day into my art practice, like using all of my toys and not hoarding the toys, or just practicing drawing and that kind of thing, painting large, all the things that I want to incorporate daily into my art practice to fall back on my word for the year, which is that authentic growth and effortless growth. So that is what this journal page honestly is all about. Just keeping it simple, but documenting what I want my art practice to look like for this year. So I'm just continuing to list the goals. I've got it's my fountain pen, and I've just got black carbon ink in it that's a permanent ink, just in case I want to go back over all of this with some sort of wet media, and then what I've written won't bleed. And then I'm just finding more things to add to the page as fodder for my journaling. And for you, this could totally be a running list. I just find that right now I want to nail down all of my thoughts, and so that is where I'm just listing them all. And then I've got my Jerry's Jumbo Jet black pencil, and I'm just going around to the page to outline different things that I'm wanting to marry into the page, or to kind of grunge. You can tell there where I used that block title that I didn't glue it down all the way, so I just got a piece of masking tape and glued right over it and just kept going. And now using that Jumbo Jet pencil to go over everything, and I've pulled that jar of India ink out again just to give this little guy on the bottom a bit of a shadow or something to kind of ground it on the page. And basically, guys, this is it. Very simple, just a lovely way to document our goals, and that's it. Thank you guys so very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.